I just remember that moment of stepping behind the line and just seeing the absolute war zone that the West Front had become.
U.S. Capitol Police Officer Carolyn Edwards recounting the moment that rioters breached police lines at the Capitol on January 6th of last year. Her powerful testimony playing out in prime time in the first of a series of public hearings on the investigation into what led up to the chaos of that day. Edwards is an Atlanta native, University of Georgia graduate, and our Joe Hankey joins us now with a look at the role our state played last night during the January 6th House Committee hearing. Joe?
Sheba, Georgia is the only state lawmakers specifically named in the first of what will be several hearings. As you mentioned, a Georgia native played a role last night, and we received a preview of the role Georgia will play later this month.
Thursday night, Americans saw never-before-seen video of the riot at the U.S. Capitol. U.S. Capitol Police Officer Carolyn Edwards, a Georgia native, struggles to rewatch that day.
When somebody shows me footage of the 6th, I have to have them turn off the sound, because that sound that's screaming, it takes me back to a very bad place.
During the first public January 6th hearing, though,
it was carnage. It was chaos.
Edwards described what she experienced alongside her fellow officers.
I mean, I saw friends with blood all over their faces. I was slipping in people's blood.
Edwards, seen here on body camera footage, would be overrun, suffered a traumatic brain injury, and knocked unconscious at one point, but continued to try to defend the Capitol. She mentioned her Marine grandfather, who was wounded in the Korean War.
I would like to think that he would be proud of me, proud of his granddaughter that stood her ground that day and continued fighting, even though she was wounded, like he did many years ago.
And during her comments, Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney previewed the role Georgia will play in hearings later this month.
You will hear additional details about President Trump's call to Georgia officials, urging them to, quote, find 11,780 votes that did not exist.
Cheney was pointing to testimony expected the week of June 20th from Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger and his office's Chief Operating Officer Gabriel Sterling, who 11 Alive confirmed have been subpoenaed by the committee. Trump is also accused of attempting to have the Department of Justice meddle in Georgia's election,
including sending this letter to Georgia and 5 other states, saying the U.S. Department of Justice had, quote, identified significant concerns that may have impacted the outcome of the election.
The DOJ, though, repeatedly told Trump otherwise, Cheney says.
And Georgia was also referenced last night as Cheney detailed lawsuits filled with unsupported election claims that were filed in Georgia on Trump's behalf. She also mentioned documents a judge this week ordered be turned over to the committee, including emails involving Georgia officials. Details of those emails could come out in hearings later this month. Sheba.